Dr. Jaffe, is there a particular LRA result profile that would suggest to the patient and to the practitioner that the patient is better off avoiding all lectins?
Important question, especially since many today are saying that lectins are terrible. Lectins must be identified and quarantined and avoided, kind of like a modern plague, when in fact they're part of the fiber-rich prebiotic sources that keep us healthy. They have a very important biological function in small amounts, the amounts you would get from eating a serving of beans or having lentils or dal or something like that. The amounts you get from a healthy diet are very tiny, and they're meant to stimulate minimally, but importantly, the immune defense and repair system that lines the GI tract. Half of your immune system may be in the mucosa, in that surface between you and the digestive tract, between the microbiome and the metabolome. So my view as a lectinologist, and I'm an immunologist who has a special interest in lectins, we've been studying these, the field of immunology, immunologists have been studying lectins since the 50s and 60s, initially because they were identified in such allergens as pokeweed and milkweed and other things that were known to cause seasonal allergies. And chemists were able to separate the lectin, purify it, and then they found that when you isolate lymphocytes and incubate them in the laboratory, tiny amounts of certain lectins really stimulate those cells. In fact, if you were to eat lectins, if you were to somehow come upon a highly purified source of lectins, I would stop you. I wouldn't do that. And I don't think anyone recommends it. And of course, I'm just trying to make a strong point. In a mineral-rich, healthy bean, lentil, tuber, wherever the lectin comes from, it's meant to be there. It can be healthy. Yes, if you have a delayed allergy to that specific food, we want you to avoid it. But lectins are very specific for the food they're found in. So the lectin that's in pokeweed is different than the lectin that's in milkweed, is very different than the lectin that's in lentils or in beans. So that in contrast to some other situations, when you react to several, say, foods or vegetables or flowers or whatever that contain lectins, a good question is, the question on the table is, should we avoid all lectins? And the answer is no, because they are so specific. It's like different keys for a common lock. You know, it might look like a key, because it is a key, but it's got different identifiers. And that's the point. They are immunologically non-cross-reactive. They do not generalize across the group. So that's in contrast to, say, nightshades, where if you react to 2 or more of them, or sweets like sugars, where if you react to 2 or more of them, or cow dairy, if you react to multiple forms. There is a lot of antigenic mimicry, a lot of antigenic cross-reactivity. And there you do want to generalize to rest the body from developing cross-sensitization. In contrast, the lectins are so specific that if you show me the chemical structure, I ought to be able to tell you, which bean, which lentil, which cultivar, which weed, which flower it came from. So lectins are very different. They're very important. They're very powerful. They're present in very small amounts in a healthy diet, and they're really needed as part of a healthy microbiome interaction with metabolome, digestion interaction with metabolism.